everyone, welcome back to the Hakian Math channel. Today we're going to be doing measuring angles. I've actually got a microphone that I've set up, so hopefully my voice is a bit clearer and you don't get too much of the background noises. So let's totally get started. Firstly, today we're learning about the different types of angles and how to measure angles using protractor. So if you do have your protractor with you, I would suggest that you do take it out, especially for this exercise. I just want to get started and say that, angles are everywhere. We can see it in our buildings, we can see it, even the stationery you use today, even food, anything, pretty much, clothes, even outside when you're sitting in the car. Even animals have angles as well. So today we are learning about angles because you can use them everywhere. So today's learning intention is that you are able to draw and classify different types of angles. And today's success criteria is hopefully you can use a protractor. You can identify the different types of angles, which we will go through. And you can draw an angle using the appropriate degrees, as well as including the appropriate measurement to indicate the degree, which is the clear circle. So let's get right into it. So the different types of angles are as shown on the left of your screen. So you can see up the top here, you've got acute. An acute angle, which is between 0 to 90 degrees. I probably would suggest that you do have a sort of an understanding of what degrees lie in each of the angles. It's just more efficient, but at the moment, I don't expect you to remember all of this by the end of this video, but hopefully by the end of the topic, you will be able to, understand and know what angles these types will fall under. So I've just got pictures here as well. So an acute angle is between 0 to 90 degrees as shown here and here. Now this does sort of look like a right angle, but it's actually not, and a lot of people get confused. Right angles are generally shown just the one below with a square to indicate that angle. All the other angles will be indicated by a curved line as shown in the blacks, as you can see. So a right angle is 90 degrees, and it's shown like this. Doesn't always get shown like that. It could be on a side, it could be like upside down. An obtuse angle is between 90 to 180 degrees, and it's usually indicated by a straight line and then a line that kind of goes tilted up, or tilted down. Now a straight angle is 180 degrees, and it's literally just a straight line with the curved line that sits on top from the center. A reflex angle is between 180 to 360 degrees, and so they're usually located sort of on the outside of an obtuse or an acute angle, and you can usually calculate these by determining what the obtuse or the acute angle. So you'd find out what these angles are and then subtract that from 360 to find the reflex. At the moment my eraser on my tablet doesn't seem to be working, so I'm gonna have to try and not make mistakes today. So a revolution angle is 360 degrees, and that's just indicated by a straight line, where the angle you're solving is essentially just the whole circle itself. So a circle has 360 degrees, and we do know that a triangle is 180 degrees inside. I can't actually erase that. Now hopefully with the protractors you have been able to buy over the school holidays or ordered online. I would definitely begin with these kind of protractors that are transparent and do not have a gap in the middle. So this one here I probably wouldn't suggest if you've never used a protractor before, but I would definitely suggest that you use this one here. So I've just got two pictures just to show you the difference, because there's quite a few stores that sell the one with the gap, and that's purely because of accuracy. And just first timers, it's just easier to use this. Now this arrow here just indicates the perpendicular line where they both meet right there. So I'm not sure why my ink is not working. All right, so that point there is the center, and it's really important that you get into the habit of using that. So let's just practice how to use a protractor. It is going to be a bit hard for me to teach you virtually through the screen, but I'm going to try my best to teach you, okay? So the first thing you need to do is, let's say you got all the angles, see these blue lines and these red dots. So just imagine you were given these blue lines. The first step is to identify the center point. So that's usually the, the point where the angle is, as you can see, indicated by the red dots. So if you look at A, okay, what you need to do is you need to move your protractor. So that bit there, the center that I've just done a cross on, you want to find that point there and put it on the red dot or the point. So obviously not all questions are going to have a red dot, but it'd be that point there. And then you want to align your line so that 0, which is here, okay, is aligned like that. Now, I understand there's two sets of numbers. There's numbers on the outside and there's numbers on the inside. And that's just to help you measure different angles, no matter how they've been drawn, okay? Because not all acute angles, like this one here, is going to look like that, okay? You might get an upside down acute angle like that, all right? So from here, when you've aligned your center and you've lined up one of the lines to the point 0, you would be counting the numbers on the inside from 0. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. So this one here is 50 degrees, this angle here. And that's indicated by that number there. You wouldn't say it's 130, you would say it's 50 because you always start from 0. So let's look at B. So B, okay, you've lined it up with a 0. Now this 0 is on the outside, so we're going to be using the numbers on the outside. So if you just go all the way around and you find out where the blue line is, all right, it's about maybe 145 degrees, okay? And that's indicated between that 140 and that 150 there. All right. Normally, you can count like, 141, 142, 143. But for the time being, my eyes are a bit struggling to see the screen. So for C, okay. Now, I know this doesn't have a square, indicator to show that it's a right angle. And sometimes questions do that to throw you off. But like I said, you just put your protractor on the center point and you start from 0. So we can see that the 0 here is on the outside. So we're going to be using the outside numbers from 0. So we can see that this angle here is 90 degrees because between 80 and 100 is 90. Okay. Now if we look over here, okay, so the angle you're measuring is a reflex. So that's actually this angle here, not the one that I've just indicated in red. So you would line it up. You would start from 0, which is the inside 0. You would find out that this angle here is 110 degrees. And what you would do is you would do 360 minus 110 degrees, which would give you 250 degrees. Okay, and so we would say that D would be 250 degrees. And don't forget your unit for measurement. So it's just a bit of practicing to do it. So here we're going to look at some questions. So for the angle shown, state the type of angle and measure its size. So you don't just have to find what the degree is. You also need to tell me what type of angle it is. So it says AOB. So this is the first one we're doing. A, okay, AOB. Now, I just want to quickly say to you, when you carry your protractor to this question, which you should be looking at this right now, don't look at anything, just look at the protractor. So AOB, okay, meaning that the angle, all right, so you put the protractor in the center, you line it up to 0, so we're using the inside numbers, and you would see that it falls on 60. So you would say that angle AOB is 60 degrees. So this symbol here stands for angle, okay? And the reason why you do it in this order, okay, is because the middle letter is where the angle is. It's where the angle is. So you can see that over here, O is where the angle is, F is where the angle is, O is where the angle is, and that's what I would expect to see when you write your working out. So if you wanted to write angle BOA is equal to 60 degrees, because O is still in the middle and you're literally reading it like BOA, I would still accept that. If it's AOB, that's also correct, okay? Just as long as we see O in the middle. Cool, let's do the second one. So the second one here is EFG or GFE. It's up to you. I like to be a bit alphabetical, so I will start with E. So if we line up our protractor to the center point and we put the straight line to the 0, you can use the numbers on the outside and you can sort of see that between 120 and 130 the angle is 125 degrees. So you would say angle EFG is equal to 125 degrees. Okay, now if you want to do angle GFE, by all means, but you know, most likely speaking, because it's you know your alphabet, that's probably more of a better idea. So over here, okay, the question is asking you for the reflex angle of DOE, not the obtuse angle, the reflex, okay? So this is reflex, and if it was this side, that would be an obtuse angle. All right, so we just need to be able to practice to identify the different types of angles. So over here, we line it up. See how the protractor's upside down? And this is why we have two sets of numbers on both sides, because they don't always look picture perfect. So if you line up your center point and put the straight line there, and you start from the 0, you would use the inside numbers this time. So now you would read that the obtuse angle is 130 degrees. Now to calculate reflex, don't do what I did. My eraser's not working, so I can't actually erase that right now. So let me just make that a bit neater. Okay, so to find the reflex, you would do 360 minus the obtuse angle to give you the reflex. So you could write, therefore, angle DOE equals 230 degrees, okay? It is good to get into the habit to use therefore, which is the 3 dots that are sort of like an imaginary triangle if you joined up all the lines. And make sure your working out is neat. So we're going to use a different example now. So now the question is asking you to draw the angle. Rather than identifying what type of angle and how many degrees, you actually have to draw it yourself. So this is where a ruler comes in handy as well with drawing an angle. So if you have a ruler, I would also suggest you have that out on your desk just to practice how to use a protractor. Now these are the steps that are from your book, but I will explain it to you the way I would see it. But by all means, you're more than welcome to write this down and take further notes. So the first question we're looking at is angle AOB is equal to 65 degrees. So the first thing you would do is you would maybe on your piece of paper, you could draw a dot, not too thick, just a dot. Okay, that's the first step. The second step is then you would move your protractor, okay, so that the center is on the dot. Do we see that? Okay, now what you could do is you could just simply look at the 0, which is on the inside. So you could draw, I would mark a line where it says 180. Just mark a line right there, okay, with your pencil. And then I would work out from 0 all the way to 65, wherever that is, and mark a pencil mark just above it so you know where it is. And then you would remove your ruler, okay, and you would have a dot and 2 lines like that, and you would just get a ruler and you would just join the 2, and you would do that as such. And that's sort of how I would proceed to draw the angles, okay? Now the second one is angle WXY equals 130 degrees. So you can definitely do the same thing. Draw your line on your piece of paper. Okay, start from 0. Now, some of you might ask, does it matter if you do this zero or this zero when you start? To be completely honest, it does not matter. But if you're drawing it, it's most likely better to use the inside ones because they're closest to you, you know? Like, if you look at the outside, it's a bit hard to distinguish personally. But by all means, it doesn't matter if you did the line this way or you did the line that way for XW. I wouldn't be fast as long as your Y was at 130. So if you did W this way on the right and you started at this zero, your 130 would be about here. Okay, but if you did your W this way, okay, your 130 would be about here. And so it would look like the inverse of what has been shown. I don't actually have a ruler, unfortunately. Okay, and that is another way that you could draw it, and that would also be accepted. So just a little heads up. So the last one we're going to look at is angle MNO equals 260 degrees. So this is a reflex angle. So we know that our protractor only goes to 180 degrees. Okay, it doesn't go to 360. So just by that, we know that we will need to subtract 260 from 360, okay, which will give you 100, and that's the angle you actually need to draw and measure first. So over here, you would do your center point, you would do a line here or here, I'm not fast, and you would do 100 either there or over here, okay? And so this bit here is 100 degrees, and this one here indicated with the black line is 260 degrees. Make sure when you do show the angle that you are only using the line, so the curved line, to indicate the angle for the angle it's asking for. I'm only showing you this angle here just to show you that that is 100 degrees. Do not do 100 degrees for your working out. Only do like the 260 degrees or the 130 or the 65, okay? It's just to show you how it's been solved. And with that said, that is all for today's angle topic. I know it took a bit of a while. Welcome back to online learning. And if you have any questions, feel free to email your teacher or ask them in class. Thank you.